chasing dreams, they running nightmares where I'm from. And they know 911. That's on my son, they hear him 23.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back to Ramily Only International Edition. And on the second episode of the International Edition, I got my guy Camar who's over in Austria doing big things. Kamar, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. So Kamar, you are over there playing the Austria Football League with the Denobi Dragons. So how are things going so far?
It's good, man. I got signed Thursday. I played my first game last Saturday. So I mean, it's just, it's a lot of moving parts. You learn the playbook quick and, just going out there proving that, coming from America that, we ball over there and, you're just trying to get a shot at the league. So
Yes, sir. And we're going to talk about it a little later on about you getting that Aaron Donald treatment over there.
yeah, man, yeah.
So that's a little teaser for the people. So let's start out by talking about back in February, you participated in the National Combine down in Naples, Florida. So what was that experience like for you?
It was great. I met a lot of guys down there from the same area that I was from, like the CIAA thing or the conference. And so when we got there, we ended up being on the same team. So, we got to talk about our experiences from different schools and just to see where everybody else's goals were, And then, we talked about it, everybody had a different plan. And then, we got to play together. So, we learned a lot. I done met so many great guys that, got chances to go play pro. And then I got my chance to play pro as well. So, we're still staying in contact. I think that if you're like, under recruited guy for pros and you want to get a shot, they do pro days. They did a scrimmage. They did everything to get you what you needed to get your film out and get your numbers out to people that, that will sign you and that you can play professional. So I think it was great.
I love it. I love it. And how do you think, playing in the CIAA has helped you as you start your pro career?
I think playing in, excuse me. I think playing in the CIAA was great. I think the CIAA is the CIAA. We get a lot of a bad rep just because it's HBCU conference, but I do think it's a lot of great guys that ball out in the CIAA. And we just don't get the same amount of looks that Alabama would get because we just is where we play at. So, um, you know, it's a lot of guys that are unsigned from CIAA that would change the program. NFL, ELF, the AFL where I play at, even Arena Ball. It's a lot of guys that just, haven't signed a contract yet and they're waiting on their one call from the CIAA.
Yes, sir. And we're going to talk about one of your teammates a little later on in the show who definitely hasn't got his call yet. Um, so what was the process for like for you, deciding on how you wanted to start your pro career?
Really, you just getting out of getting out of college. Playing that last home game at Bowman Gray. I told myself that this wouldn't be my last time putting on a helmet and pads. I had a plan, I had a dream, and I prayed every night just for God to give me an opportunity to play at the next level. So I ended up getting to the National Scout Combine, like you said. I also went to the College Gridiron Showcase in January, which is where all the top guys go to play in was Fort Worth, Texas. And it's not much of a scrimmage, but you get a lot of film and a lot of like one-on-one reps with top guys like from like one of the guys I went against played at Hawaii, and it's a lot of D1 talent out there. I don't know if you know Will Brooks. Me and Will Brooks was neighbors at over there from Tennessee. So it's like, that type of thing. You get a whole different type of pool of guys that you get to play against, get film on to send out to these NFL or these, next level league guys scouts. So, that started my pro career or my pro dream, just working out every day, keep training. And I always had that dream since I was 5 to play pro and to make it. So it wasn't hard for me to make that decision.
Yes, sir. And so what you mentioned your training. So what kind of training did you kind of do to kind of get yourself ready?
Man, it's been a lot. I got a lot of great trainers, from D line trainers to weightlifters or to weightlifting to conditioning guys. It's a process, but my weight training and my conditioning training came from my trainers back in Raleigh, doing Raleigh Sports Performance, Malik Frazier and Dante, and then I would often go to Charlotte and train out there with my guy Nick Shupin. So it would just, it just be things like that, just going back and forth, trying to get, perfect and just trying to train my body to know like, we got to move and we got to run these fast times, lift heavy, stuff like that, just to get a shot being from where I'm from, because the shot that we were getting was already, from behind half court, so you just got to make the most out of your opportunity.
I know they had posted that you had signed on a Thursday, and then like 2 days later you had a game. But I know you were talking before we went on air that you had been there for almost 2 weeks, correct?
No, no, I've been in Austria now currently for 2 weeks. So when I got here the day before Mother's Day, which is I think was a Saturday. Um,
Sunday, yeah.
yes, so when I got here, it was daytime Sunday, but when I left from Raleigh, it was Saturday because we're over here. I'm 6 hours ahead of you guys, so the day was hard. That was kind of hard, trying to get adjusted to the time. It took me about 2-3 days just to because probably all my friends are back in the U.S. I gotta wait till nighttime for me till you guys get up to actually have a conversation with somebody to call my mom, type of thing. So that was a big struggle, but I mean, I got through it. It's just just being grown. You got to be an adult and just do stuff on your own and just realize, man, you're here for a reason. To get your film, get out of here, and make it to the league, and buy that house that your mom want. That type of thing. So yeah, I've been here since I got here that Saturday, and I was here pretty early. But we was just doing like physicals and signing papers and stuff like that, just trying to get everything correct and licensed before I started playing.
Got you. So how how has the experience been like with the food over there? Is it a big difference from here in America?
It's very funny though because everybody I talk to asking me the same thing. It's like the food over here is fresher, is what I can say. Like you can taste the difference between the McDonald's here and the McDonald's in the US. Like it is a completely different thing. And when I say complete different thing, I mean like it's better here, because like everything is made to order and made fresh. So you know how you go to a fast food restaurant, they'll have your food out in like 2-3 seconds. Nah, like you're gonna be waiting maybe 2-3 minutes for that little chicken sandwich to be made, because they make it
Got you.
fresh. So that's why I think this is I like it better. And then the water here is amazing, man. Like where I stay is like maybe like I'm a couple miles from or a couple miles away from the Alps, the mountains. So we get great water, and so it's just that type of thing. Like back in the U.S. we drinking Deer Park and Poland Springs and stuff like that, but here, you can really get some great water out of the sink, that type
That's
of thing.
that's good. I'm glad to hear that. So how long did it take you long to get acclimated and comfortable with your new team?
I'm really not long, man. They're my team is really like really friendly, man. Like that's what I can say. Coming in as a defensive player, how I see it, I wouldn't want anybody from another country to come in and take my spot. That's
Mhm.
that's just something I wouldn't like. So when I came in, being real friendly with everybody, just trying to learn the plays because it's a language barrier. They speak German here, but they're taught English. So English is an international language, so everybody knows it. But it's more of like who really knows how to speak it the best. That type of
Mhm.
thing. But when I got here, man, I met some great guys. Like the linebacker, man, he's Junji. He's a great guy, bro. He taught me a lot. I mean, we learned plays, and he stayed with me because he speaks really good English, by the way, as well. But he's just able to like be that kind of person. Be like, hey, man, I'll help you out. Because I couldn't imagine me playing at Winston and Coach Massey went and got an international guy to come play DN. That would anger me. But that's the type of thing, man. They understand that we're here to help them, and at the end of the day, everybody wants a championship. And they were good before I got here, and they're good when I got here. Yeah, all I did was turn it up a notch, and that's what I told them when we had our defensive meeting. I told them, I said, look, I'm not here to take nobody's job. I'm not here to step on anybody's toes. I'm here to take what y'all got and turn it up a little bit, because that's the type of thing I'm here to do, because y'all got a great nucleus with or without me. I can sit on the sideline. I know y'all gonna get a three and out, that type of thing. So I let them know. I said, look, man, I'm here to just turn y'all up a little bit, just change a little couple of things, and we're gonna be all right. And that's just how it is, because they look at me as somebody that's like, man, he's been doing this for like forever, man. Because the guys I play with have been playing American football for like maybe 5 years. if that. You know,
Gotcha.
so I come in with all the experience that I have. I can tell them something. Like I was telling one of my DNs the other day, like I was like, man, maybe you should, instead of going stand in a tight five where somebody can reach you, why don't you stand in a tilted stance? You know, it's harder for somebody to reach you like that. You know, he made a lot of plays like Saturday or Sunday. So, you know, it's those little things that I could change about this program that can turn somebody, you know, get somebody an opportunity.
I love that. I love that. So is there a big difference from the way that they play football over in Austria compared to the way we played here in America?
Um, not too much on a physical standpoint. It's less emotional, you know.
Gotcha.
And in America, we play with a lot of emotion and we wear our emotion on our sleeves. Here, it's more of like, oh well, you know, type of thing.
Mm.
And you see that in the officiating. You see that on the teams. You know, sometimes like say offensive lineman will miss a block, you go through and you make the tackle, he'll be the first one to be like, "Good job, bro." You know, it's a
Oh
kind of
wow.
it's that type of thing. It's like, you know, they're trying to do the same thing, but they know you're here for a different reason. So, I will say it's a lot less emotional.
I got you. I got you. So what did you want to bring to this team? I know you kind of mentioned that you kind of just wanted to turn them up a notch. So is that all you were just trying to add to what they already had, pretty much, basically?
Well, I mean, when I came in, man, they were, I think 5 or 6-1
Wow.
when I showed up. So you know they had it already, you know, but they were dealing with a lot of injuries on the D line. So when I came in my first game Saturday, I didn't come off the field. So, but you know, I was used to that playing in college. You know, being with Coach Mack, doing the conditioning and stuff like that. You know, and what I told them. So when I came in, I told him, I said, look, man, I brought Coach Mack always putting us in, me, Flim, and Noble and those guys. He said, man, look, we want to be on the field. This is, you know, we can score too. That type of mentality. So I brought that with me. I told him, I said, look, man, I mean, I have no problem being on the field. I'd rather be on the field than the offense, only because it's something I can control. You know, I can't
Gotcha.
control what the offense does. I can't do any of that, but I know I can get on this field for defense and I can force a sack and force a fumble. I can catch a pick, you know, things like that. And then along with my defense, we catch a pick, I can make a block for you to go score. You know, so I brought that. I told him, man, turnovers aren't just good. We need pick sixes, we need fumble sixes, we need strip sacks, you know, those kind of things. And you know, we're learning. You know, it's a learning process, but you know, we just can't be satisfied with just, and that's what I brought with me. I just told him, I said, look, man, we're not satisfied with a 10-0 win. You know, that's not good enough. You know, we needed more, especially when we're getting two turnovers. We could score one of those can go to the house. You know, that type of thing.
I love that. I love that. So you kind of mentioned how your first game went. So let's talk more about that. What was that first game like for you over there?
Man, it was amazing, man. You know, for the first time, I really, you know, got a lot of one-on-ones in the first half. You know, just because they didn't know what they were gonna like. The Gratz Giants didn't know what they were gonna expect from me. They knew I was gonna be a little bit different, being an American DN. You know, Austrian tackles are don't see that. Austrian O linemen don't see that a lot. So me coming in, they didn't know what to really expect. So I got a lot of one-on-ones early and I showed up, and you know that quickly changed. So I mean it's just it's stuff like that, man. It's just I didn't really experience a lot of one-on-ones in college, as you know. So coming here fresh with a fresh slate, and they didn't really understand or didn't really know what I was capable of doing, which was good. So I got to little show up, have my little fun for the first half, and then you know I had to face a couple of double teams to get through to have more fun. But
Mentioned that in that first half you got a lot of one-on-ones, and then things really changed pretty
yeah,
quickly. Um,
yeah.
not just double teams. You got triple teams. So what was that like?
Yeah, man. Well, we went through the scout report early, and you know there was a guy on the field that was young. He plays for the Germany national team,
Mhm.
and he was I think he was like maybe 18, 19 years old. You know how I see it is like, man, back in college, man, it's a freshman. The freshman shouldn't be able to block me, you know, that type of
Love
thing.
that.
So I at the first half I was on the older guy, and you know he was just a lot better just because he's had more experience. He's played in the ELF, he's done things, and you know he was just a lot better. So then when I switched sides and got on him, that's when you know I saw double teams, I saw triple teams, I saw the back a lot. shaded to my side just because they just didn't trust him all the way yet. And then on top of that, he was his front side lineman. So the quarterback has to see me before he can look at his receivers. That type of thing. So it was, seeing the triple team. I wasn't really upset more about it. I was more of like, I like this. I like this that y'all give me this type of respect that I have to see three different people. So
Yeah, and like I told you, they only give the great ones that kind of attention, so that should be a
yeah.
compliment. So did you ever face a triple team in college, any?
No, man, I never faced the triple team in college. I used to get a lot of back chips, a lot of guard help, but it would never be like a flat out triple team. Like that, it will never be that. I've never seen that. But that's also because I had a lot of different guys that I played with in college. Like I had Jalen Norris at the three technique. I had Kyron Martin at the other end. And then in my back end, I had Flynn blitzing every other play. And then my backers with Noble and Rank coming in and stuff like that. So it was kind of hard for them to blitz, like to double team or triple team anybody on our D line at least.
Yes, and for sure. And like your junior year, I remember you were just unblockable. It seemed like every other
Yeah,
play you
man.
were in the
Yeah.
backfield. um, so I know your first game, y'all got the 13-0 shutout. So how did things go yesterday for you? I know y'all had a game yesterday.
I mean, man, it just it didn't really turn out how we wanted. I mean, to be honest, it was just a lot of like it was bad. It was raining. It's never really fun when it's a rainy game because you got to deal with the run and it turns teams one dimensional. It's a lot easier to play from a defensive standpoint, but I think we just didn't show up, man. They kicked three onside kicks and got them all.
Oh
It
wow.
just that kind of thing, man. Our special teams didn't show up, and it showed. But it's just we're the Gratz Giants helped us out, man. They knocked out a team that was going good, and now everybody's sitting at 2 losses, which is good, and it puts us still at the number one rank. So we just had to take that loss on the chin and just go into this bye week knowing that we have to be better.
Yes, sir. I love that. So I've noticed your first two games, you've gotten a sack in both games. So let's talk about that. What has that been like for you? In both games, you've been able to get a sack.
Man, it's been amazing, man. I mean, as a D lineman, man, it means so much to get a sack just because, these quarterbacks nowadays, if you have a little bit of stain, man, they change the whole game plan for you, man. They'll go to quick game. Quick game is never fun for a D lineman, man. It sucks only because you have 1.5 seconds to get back there. So getting a sack early really sets the tone for a D lineman and it gets his motor going. So it's great, man. I wish I could get a lot more, man. I wish I could face teams that want to throw the ball on second and long or first and long, that type of thing. But I don't really get that a lot just because, everybody has a different system, and once they see the tape, it's more of like, yeah, I think we're gonna stick with quick game just because of who this guy is and who I have on my D line, man. And it's crazy because before I got here, man, the guys on this D line were eating. So now you add me, it's more of like everybody now has a one-on-one. It makes their job easier with me out there. That's because I'm demanding a back on my side. That frees up my three technique. That frees up my nose. That frees up my other end. You know what I'm saying? Then if we bring a blitzer, when we do, he's coming free. So man, it's great, man, knowing that I can get back there quick and early and get my little stats and then I can show up for my teammates when they get theirs.
Yes, sir. Do you still have your same sack celebration?
Yeah, always, man, always, always.
Let's talk about that. Do you have a name for that, or what is that called?
It's crazy, man. I gotta give my sack celebration isn't mine. It's not trademarked by me. We were actually in a hotel for a away game uh in 2024 season, and I think it might have been Lincoln. I want to say I think it was Lincoln's game, and we
Gotcha.
were sitting in the hotel watching the Florida State game when Jared Verse was there.
Okay,
And as
gotcha.
soon as I picked my head up from my phone, Jared Verse got a sack, and he did the celebration. And I was like, I like that. I'm taking that. And then that's how it started with me, man. I started to hammer, but I got it from Jared Verse. I don't know if he still does it anymore, but I know if he doesn't, then I'll trademark it. But I definitely got it from him watching him play. So
He's a problem coming off
yeah,
the.
yeah, he is a problem. Yeah.
So what are your goals for the rest of the season? Do y'all how many more games do y'all have left?
We got I think 5 more games, and then we have playoffs.
Like, okay,
So it's just these 5 games, man. It's just went out, just to secure that first round bye, and then it just knocking teams out one by one after that. It's that type of thing. It's just my goals really is just to lead the league in sacks coming in half season. It shouldn't be hard depend with the teams that we play and who I am, because as an American D lineman I should be better and I should be dominating. So I just have to play with that mentality, man. That's just my highlight, or that's my goals, is to get sacks and get turnovers and to create and get tackles for loss. That type of thing. I want to become the MVP of this league, just because of who I am and how the standards I hold for myself. So I got pretty big goals for the rest of the season.
so I love that, and I definitely knowing who you are and knowing what you've done for our Rams. I definitely know you can do that stuff, Kamar.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you because I know Jalen was telling me when we had our first episode of the International Edition that this was a 1 year deal, and then he was going to try to go up and play in bigger leagues. So is this a 1 year deal for you, and then you're going to try to, you know,
Um. Yeah, it is. It's a 1 year deal for me, but it's more of like, if you play good enough, you can get a spot on the ELF team. So
okay, gotcha,
it's where, how I explain it to people is the league I play in is really the G League for Europe.
gotcha,
So it's like, when our season ends, the ELF season is starting. They're getting their first round of training, or I think they're in preseason right now. So they'll be starting their season games when we finish. So it's like, it really works out because I can be done with this in the end of July and be on the team by August.
awesome.
So, it works out. It's more of like a little stepping stone, but I hope that I can do that. I hope that somebody will take a chance on me, and then I'll get signed and be able to play. So
Yes, sir. Definitely rooting for you, bro. So to close out, I wanted to ask you about one of your teammates that you've mentioned during this interview, Justin, the silent assassin Fleming. How surprised are you that nobody's giving him a chance yet?
man, it's bad, man. I mean, that's my brother, man. We talk almost every other day. He'll call me and ask me what's it like out here and stuff like that, man. It really sucks, man, that he didn't get a chance. But I do know, man. I was talking to guys, and I'm like, man, look, don't overshoot this league, because you can still get your film. You can still do a couple of things that you want to do. Like, at the end of the day, what we don't want to do is work a job, and when we can still play football. We don't want any
Yeah,
regrets. And when I got this opportunity, he was one of the first people I called. I told him, I said, look, man, I don't know if I really want to do this. And he was like, man, look, you gotta take a chance, you gotta take a risk, because who knows, you go out there and do what you're supposed to do, you might be in the NFL come August. So like I told him, I said, man, just keep working, and somebody's gonna call, man. They ain't forgot about you, man. It's a process. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And I hope somebody out there who listens to this, could give him a chance. I hope somebody in Austria or Germany or anybody that I play out here can give him a chance, man, because they're really getting a good guy, a great guy, and an even better football player. Because I know he's gonna give 120%, and that's my vouch. So I think he's gonna do. I hope he does get a chance. I just when I talk to him, but I just hope he just I tell him just keep grinding, because you gonna get it. God got us, that
for
type of
sure.
thing.
So if somebody's watching this, kind of tell them what kind of teammate and what kind of player Justin is.
Man, you're getting a competitor, man. You're getting a game changer. You're getting somebody that's gonna show up every day first. He's a leader. He was one of our captains for 3 years. He shows up to work every day, and he's gonna give 120%. And that's why I think it would be perfect for him to come to this league. As a defensive back and as a safety, you want an American safety. You want somebody to see over, to help everything out. That can fill in the run game and make game changing plays in the back end. And that's the type of guy that you're getting in Justin Fleming. So I hope that somebody out there, so one of these coaches, give him a chance, and because I know he's gonna change their program just by one defensive player. So I just hope he gets a call from anybody, man. The league, the ELF, the CFL, the AFL, man. I just hope he gets one call so he can change the program.
Yes, sir. I definitely agree with you. They'll get a franchise game changing player for sure.
Yeah,
So Kamar, I want to thank you for joining me, bro. This was definitely fun, and I want to say good luck to you. I want you to keep doing big things over there, and we're proud of you over here in America, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You take care, man.
Sir.